and using the AFCFTA as a reference point, when people talk about the AFCFTA, a lot of times we look at I would say the more straightforward protocols, like the protocol on movement of goods, movement of services. But there are some other protocols that are even more important. Protocol on investment, protocol on digital economy. And the idea behind the agreement really is creating a competitive market for African countries to grow. And at the core of it is to bring everybody together on trust. Trust built on trade. Trade, exchange of ideas and all of that. And when you start to think about it like that, and then you think about data, you start to look at conversations around how do we establish the necessary infrastructure for AI, digital economy, and all of that. And I think for us as a continent, it's very important for us to start to think about how do we leverage the resources that we have. One of the ways that we can do that is by establishing regional hubs or regional data centers. What that is going to do is, when you start to think about Nigeria, for example, the market is too small to have the kind of data centers that it requires in terms of investment. But if Nigeria acts as a regional hub for the West African sub-region, and then we have that access to the market. There are some policies that are already on ground. The NDPC signed Nigeria onto the cross-border data flows policy, which allows us to freely share information with our neighboring countries. And there are use cases where this has been a success. When you look at East Africa, for example, typical example, Rwanda and Kenya, it's very easy for you to move from one country to the other, is because they've been able to figure it out. And there are many things that, there are many ingredients to that particular food. One of those ingredients is cultural similarities. Let me use that language. And they've been able to figure that out. I think when you start to look at the continent, there's an issue of trust. There's a trust gap amongst ourselves. It shows in the way we negotiate. It shows in the way we converse. It shows in the way we interact. So I think we need to look at, vehicles like the AFCFTA and conversations around trade, digital economy as ways that we can start to bring ourselves together and leverage, issues like infrastructure investment and really policy environment, creating that environment for investment to bring in that investment into the continent.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm very glad that you mentioned two key things that we need to talk about. Trust, very important. Now, we've been talking about signals that we need to put out. There are countries within Africa that in the last year have, I don't even know the multiple now. Egypt has what, 370-something% increase year on year, last year stroke this year, in terms of inbound investment. What are they doing right? Alhaji Ahmed.
Okay, good afternoon all. Thanks for bringing me in here. Basically, we all know that investment entails the strategic alliance of some funds for future input. So when people want to go into investments, there are a lot of strategic intentions, or there are a lot of strategic purposes you must look at. As in, you must be very, very strategic in all of your decisions about making any investment. So when we take it from that point where you consider a lot of things, the risk factors, the infrastructure in the country, and all of the things surrounding your decisions about investing in that environment, it becomes very key that you must consider the policies and structures that are in the economy where you want to invest. Now, So just mention that in Egypt, for instance, they've experienced a lot of foreign direct investment. There's nothing else they're doing other than putting good policies in place that like encourages investors to come in. I'm a banker and I want to talk along that line. For instance, in this economy, the banking sector is one of the most thriving, and there are no other ways to it than the fact that the banking sector is a policy-driven sector. What that entails is that they adhere to strict laws and policies, which means every decision that is taken is based on laws that are laid out. And when people fail to adhere to such laws, there are sanctions. Now, what I want to actually push for is, and we've gathered here a lot of ideas have popped up, but implementation for the Nigerian system has always been an issue. If, for instance, all of these brilliant ideas that have come up could only be picked and a bit of them implemented by building infrastructure, by setting goals and following them through, by ensuring that people get penalized for not delivering on their set targets, a lot would have been achieved. So if we really want to invite investment into the country and into our ecosystem, there will be need for the government and all concerned to make sure they set up structures that are sustainable, as in structures that will be able to drive like how do I put it now? Something that will that will not only build trust, but will like encourage people to come in and be sure that when they come in, laws will not change. Laws will not change on them. So that is the key thing.
Okay, so Alhaji Ahmed is a banker. I'm not a banker, so I can say it. Investors need to know that when they bring their money to Nigeria, they will get it back. Yeah. They will be able to take it outside of Nigeria. Yeah. Very important. Well, to Africa in general. All right, so in terms of gaps in investment in this part of the world, there are three things. We talked about one, volume. Volume is how much investment is actually coming into Africa and how is it distributed. And then the second thing is sector. So what industries and what sectors are getting this funding and which ones should be getting the funding, because where should the money go to create the ripple effect that we're looking for? I'm going to come to you with that, Mr. Ikechukwu. Then, okay, no, actually, sorry. I'm going to take that to Mr. Chukwuma, actually, because you deal with funding of SMEs, so you would have more access and data that tells us where the money should go.
Yeah. So I think three sectors stick out for me. One is the agro sector. Today, there's a lot of emphasis around growing the agricultural value chain. So there are small-scale farmers, there are aggregators, there are people involved in the transportation. Just that whole value chain is growing. Second, of course, is manufacturing. There's a push towards more manufacturing in the country. So you go to Ogun State, there's a lot of manufacturing going on there. And it leads to a whole pool of, opportunities, distributors, people providing packaging materials, transportation, energy. There's a whole chain of input
people
materials.
People choosing to do the road for free.
Exactly, just to, be able to enable proper access. Then I think the telecom sector as well continues to grow. We've seen the explosion of data. We've seen the record figures being posted by MTN recently. And what you see is around this sector, it powers the fintech sector. It powers there's the tower business, there's the engineering services around this. So I think these three sectors are quite dominant. But there are also other, evolving sectors. There's the service sector, that's growing as well. And, a few other sectors. But I think these are things that come to mind readily from my own data.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so, yes, I'm coming to you with models. Which models should we focus our energies on? Which models have worked in Africa? Which models will continue to work based on our culture, the people, infrastructure we have, access we have?
Okay. I think the models vary from market to market. When you start to look at some of the things that we've done right in Nigeria, for example, I'll take you back to 2018. 2018, the NESG, in partnership with the National Assembly, introduced NASBA, National Assembly Business Environment Roundtable. One of the things that NASBA did was it brought private sector to the room with legislators, and we reviewed, because I was part of it, we reviewed every bill that had to do with the business environment. If the bill had something to do with business in Nigeria, we reviewed it, and we made suggestions on the changes that needed to be made to those bills before they were passed to law. That, in tandem with the work that PEPEC was doing at the time, led by the current Minister of Trade and Investment, she was the one who was the head of PEPEC, saw our continuous improvement on the ease of doing business ratings globally. And you would think that these two activities or these two measures are separate, or there's no connection, but they are very connected. And that's one of the things about taking measures like this. I would also take us to somewhere like Kenya, for example, where the Kenyan government, like the Nigerian government, introduced the AI strategy, but then they went one step further to introduce practitioner guidelines. So what does that mean? In Nigeria, for example, I think we had a participant talk about regulating AI. And that's, when you want to grow a space, you don't really stifle the growth of that innovative progress. What you do is you set up guardrails and then you manage it accordingly. And that's what the practitioner guidelines do. Ghana has also done the same thing, and we're encouraging the Nigerian government to do the same thing. In all, it's about understanding where you want to go in terms of digital acceleration and how you understand your investor, the kind of investor you want to bring into your market, what those investors are saying, and position your policy environment to really boost their confidence in your readiness to collaborate with them. I think I would say finally that when we start to think about investing in the African market, one word comes to my mind, VUCA: volatility, uncertainty, complications, and ambiguity.
Those are very scary words.
Yeah,
yes, because when you're doing, some years ago, somebody said something to me. He said, Africa is where, unfortunately, Africa is where businesses go to die. And he said that because he had borne witness to a lot of businesses who tried and struggled to grow and scale in Africa, but didn't, and they couldn't, because of the uncertain nature of doing business in Africa. And that's why people like us, government affairs guys, exist, because we help the company navigate these uncertainties. So I think when we start to work closely together, public, private sector, to identify these uncertainties and see how we can, find a path through these uncertainties for everybody's benefit, I think that's when we'll be able to. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you can do. So the model is PPP.
PPP.
We work together.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so Mr. Babagana, one of the key things that keep coming out of every conversation today is that connectivity is a core rail that needs to be provided for us to send the right signals for investment. What's next for NCC?
Yes, it is, but before I address that, let me go back to VUCA. I think, I think one thing we need to, this for of course, the communities that want to invest. One thing we have to keep in mind is the potentials in Nigeria. When the licensing of GSM started, in fact, before the general licensing, Bashir Mr. Nasir El-Rufai, who was the Director General of the BPP, then offered Vodacom GSM license for, guess what, how much? Just $1 for them to come and invest. And they went and did their maths and came back and said, you know what, no, it's too, we don't see the market, we only have 400,000 lines, we don't see the potential, and they said, no, thank you. And eventually, GSM was licensed for over $256 million, and Vodacom, or the company then, came back almost twice to just get a piece of the pie, but then it was too late. So I think that's something that investors have to keep in mind. There are challenges, there are things that we see as potential pitfalls and the rest. But if you look at the potential, everything is there in Nigeria. The population is there, the age is there. Youth, we have a lot of youth. We have, there are things that are
so
lacking.
We have a lot going for
back,
us.
Yeah. So let me just go back to connectivity. Yes, it's something that will be recurring because it's the backbone of everything we do. It's what drives technology. Apart from power, the next thing, of course, is communications. So both of these things are pitfalls, or rather challenges that we currently have. And of course, it's being addressed by government. If you look at some of the ambitious projects that we have in the sector, the 90,000 kilometers of fiber, for example, is something that was designed to address those challenges. And of course, it's going to provide concentric fiber rings across for each of the zones, geopolitical zones. And this will add to our resilience. It will also add to redundancy and the rest. So we're addressing those ones. We have the BTS projects that the Honorable Minister is also pushing. And of course, there are lots of other policies that are in place to address those challenges, and I think we're getting there. We already have enough capacity for fiber at the submarine networks. We do have sufficient data center capacity, even though they are concentrated in Lagos. We're getting there, I think, I believe so.
Okay, thank you very much. Before I leave you, I'd like you to tell us how identity, which is also, so we talked about trust earlier. I wanted to bring in identity as well. So he, for example, gives money to individuals and SMEs. How are the policies that we're dealing with right now, that we're bringing out right now, addressing the issue of identity to make sure that we are positioned correctly for both local and inbound investment?
Okay,
and
yeah.
they're rushing us, so.
Okay. Yeah, security generally is one key area that the Commission is currently focusing on. We have a framework for cybersecurity for the communications industry that is in draft form, is already in circulation. And of course, our efforts like the NIN-SIN linkage and the rest are all geared towards that. Then apart from that, we have also technological things that we're doing behind the scenes, like IPv6, we're promoting IPv6 adoption. We're promoting DNSSEC validation in Nigeria. So all those ones are meant to build trust using technology to ensure that people feel safe, trust the networks and the technologies that they are using for day-to-day activities.
Thank you very much. Ikechukwu, if you could prioritize just one thing for Nigeria over the next 12 years, what would it be? No, I want you to think about that before you answer, because I'm going to just think about it for a minute. So, MC, I know we are running out of time, but do we have any money-related questions from the audience? We'll take one question. Okay, 2 questions. Money, it has to relate to money.
Before the questions come, the answer is broadband. Broadband. That's it. We need to get as many people as possible connected.
So connectivity.
Yes.
Okay. I like it. Thank you. All right, so questions, please. If it's not money related, we will not answer.
It's on financial inclusion, so I think it's money related.
Okay.
All right, this goes to the fiducia, CEO fiducia. So he's addressing a critical sector in the economy with the SMEs, and the platform is also solving for a very critical barrier for these SMEs, which you already know they are the backbone of the economy, and about 96% of these people are micro enterprises. So I wanted to ask, how is the platform driving or enabling access for these micro enterprises? As we all know that these micro enterprises, most of them do not just have issue of access to credit or financial access, but also digital access. How is Fiducia partnering or co-creating solutions to enable adoptions or allow those small businesses who do not have digital access to be able to participate in this platform? And also, how have you been able to effectively capture the Nigerian market while you are looking to drive growth in other regions in Africa?
This is a thick question, but let's give it a shot. So I think, yes, it's a digital first platform. So primarily we serve our customers through our, accessible through our website. But we've seen that there are various levels of literacy, right? And we have to solve for that. So particularly around the agro sector, we've seen that farmers are unable to access it through the platform. So what we do is adopt aggregators, right? What these aggregators do is they bring them all together. Because remember, through digital, we must collect certain information that gives more comfort to the providers of fund. So the digital enables that. But because of this gap or this challenge, we've had to find ways to distribute it through aggregators. So we've seen it work. It may affect speed, it may affect scale, but it's a solution. And then as we continue to increase digital literacy, that problem starts to thin out. Now, for the Nigerian market, we've been in operations for about 3 years. And what we've seen is it's a very big market opportunity. Covering the entire market takes time. We started from the major, what I'll call major city centers, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja. But we've seen that there are small businesses that need these services across all the regions. So we're slowly but surely moving across all the regions. It requires more people. It requires more funding. But we've seen that the principle is the same. Lending against an existing receivable or an existing obligation creates some level of, it increases the safety of your funds if you're a lender. So we're seeing high adoption across different sectors, like I had mentioned, the agro sector, the telco sectors. A case in point, one of the large telecoms operators today, they have towers and people that support those towers across the country. And today they are a customer of ours, with many of their vendors being able to unlock liquidity from our platform, through our platform. And I'll say something very quickly to close this. When they go to a traditional bank, they are subject to more, what I'll call more onerous processes, such as collateral, providing quite a bit of documentation. But what this platform offers you is an option to get access to the funding quicker. And we promised 24 to 48 hours. We've been able to keep that promise most of the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So what I hear Mr. Chukwuka saying is, beyond the talk, we're walking the walk. We understand that Africa does not necessarily need, is not necessarily at the point where everybody is able to is able to go online and get access to these services. So we're meeting them where they are, which is what we need to do as a continent in general.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone. I think it has been a very enlightening conversation.
Thank you.
Please let's make that ovation louder. Please let's clap for them for that very insightful session. While pictures are going on, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to inform you very, very confidently that lunch is ready and we will be going to the table very soon. But please, you would indulge us. We'll take 2 more items on the program and then we are done. But before we get to that, I'd like to very specially and respectfully recognize our dear Director, Commercial, SABC, QS Emmanuel Adejo. Please can you help me give him a round of applause and celebrate him? Thank you, sir, for being with us here today. Also, the General Manager, SABC, is also here with us, our dear Babalola Titiloye. Please help me give a round of applause. Thank you. And everyone on the SABC team, thank you so much for being here and joining us to do this very historic event today. I would like to very quickly, for the next 2 minutes thereabout, bring to the microphone for summary of key insights from this very wonderful event today is the Intech Technical Committee lead and also the CEO Management Edge. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me give a round of applause for Mr. Rex Apitogo. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I know we've been seated here for quite a while, and I'll try as much as possible to make this brief. This presents the summary of activity for today. This summit, which is the maiden edition of the Innovation Technology Summit, which focuses on artificial intelligence as well as artificial intelligence, digital economy, and sustainability. The event put together by iCentra under the leadership of my very good friend Taufik Babayeju. The event had in attendance participants from private organizations, from government, policymakers, as well as technical experts, innovators, and industry stakeholders. We had a very good venue for this event, which is where you are, Sheikh Musa Yaradua Center, and event had plenary as well as plenary sessions as well as panel sessions. We have participants from government organizations as well as private organizations. Specifically, we recognize the presence of NIDA, NDPC, FIRS, CBN, as well as AfriLabs, Women of It. We had special remarks earlier in the morning by the chairman of NESG, Olani Yusuf, as well as panelists drawn from different organizations. We had different thematic areas focusing on green digital economy, as well as green digital economy, fintech, as well as policy development around artificial intelligence, emerging technologies, and the future of work. We had a team of panelists from
NESG, we had panelists from NCC, Cisco, Fiducia, Glovis, Management Edge, Product Edge, Almond, as well as Tech Project. We had participants discuss issues relating to AI adoption, policy, as well as regulation as it relates to AI adoption. We talk about inclusiveness. In other words, there's need to carry everybody along, either you are a male or female, old, young. We must build an environment, we must build solutions that carry everybody along. The media were well represented, and they play a major role, not just in the event, but the activities that precede this event, and also in communicating and shaping the narratives. As part of key discussions, there are discussions around innovation, investment, as well as infrastructure for Africa's digital transformation. It was unanimously agreed that for events like this, we shouldn't just focus on having it in Nigeria. Either we invite people from other African countries, or we take it to this doorstep of other countries. It was also agreed that there's need for us to integrate, to get more government involved when it comes to policy formulation. And also it was largely agreed that there's need for us to have stakeholder involvement and also research and development from the academic environment. So for us to have AI that is that shape our digital economy, we must think about sustainability, and sustainability involves everybody. This year's event, being a one-day event, also set the stage for future events, which possibly will go beyond one day, as well as involvement of other partners and international players in the ecosystem. The event convener appreciates the effort of everyone in keying into this initiative, and we agree that this event should be sustained. So lastly, I would like to ask that, based on that resolution that this event should be sustained, do we all agree that we're going to be here next year for another edition of this event? Is there anybody that is disagreeing? So those in favor say hi. Well, don't let me even ask again. So again, we say a very big thank you. We know what it takes for you to be here, for you to leave everything that you have for today and block your calendar for this event. We didn't take it lightly. We appreciate you. We thank our partners, NDPC, PIC, NESG, Veraki, Microvis, Steady Anchor, supporting partners, Management Edge, Tax Tech, IPNX, Hotspot, Moneyline, Wi-Fi Night, Plasia, Takeout Media, and our amazing audience. For you being here since morning up to now, we want to say a very big thank you to all of you. See you next year. And I'll hand over to, and of course, the wonderful event compares, my very good friend Antino. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, he thanked us very heartily. Can we please give him a hearty round of applause? Thank you very much. Very quickly, I'm going to be bringing up on stage for the closing remark and vote of thanks a very, very experienced project manager from iCentra, and she's going to be doing justice to that session. Please help me give a very warm welcome to Mrs. Esther Atetibi. Please can we clap for her? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I hope we've had a wonderful session so far. Has this been worth your time? Okay, wonderful. So I think Mr. Rex has kind of done my closing remark. So I would just like to take this time to appreciate everybody, especially for being here. So starting with our sponsors, our supporting partners, our partners, which Mr. Rex has mentioned, we're so grateful. Without your support and your contribution, this event would not have been a success. And then to our wonderful speakers who came in from within Nigeria, outside of Nigeria, just to make this event a success. Your valuable insight is really appreciated, and we are very grateful. I also like to thank the delegates. I think you should give yourself a round of applause for staying with us to the end of the event. I mean, it's a Tuesday, it's a work day, you could have been everywhere, but you stayed here today with us to be part of the conversation, and we are very grateful. I'd like to appreciate our planning committee. We've had sleepless nights to bring this event to a success. Our volunteers, we are so grateful. Thank you so much for your time. And as we leave, I hope that the conversations we've had will not just stay in this room. I hope they turn to policy and actionable points and strategies that are being implemented for true impact. And I also like to encourage that you follow us on our social media platform. Please, the media, just bring out your phone in case you are not following, please. Just bring out your phone and follow us on all our social media platform at official_Intech Summit. Official Intech Summit, thank you. And I think, please, before you go, take a picture with someone, get somebody's contact, and see you next year at Intech Summit 2026. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Esther, for that very wonderful closing remark. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, with that, we have come to the end of this very historic event. But I'd like to ask one more time, has it been worth your while? If it has, please, can you give a big round of applause to our very phenomenal convener and, of course, organizers of this wonderful event. Please, let's give iCentra a very big round of applause. Then, very specially, please, let's give our own dear Mr. Taufik Babayeju another big round of applause. Thank you, sir, for this very, very wonderful event. So, at the start of the event, I asked us who was ready for the revolution. And every one of us responded, and then we asked our neighbors. Now that we've learned the steps, the ropes, and all of the system and processes that we're going to be needing for the revolution, are we now ready to begin the revolution? Are we ready to begin the revolution? So, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we will be drawing the curtain on this maiden edition of Innovation and Technology Summit 2025. One more time, please give yourselves a very big round of applause. It has been our absolute pleasure to have hosted you today, and we hope that we'll see you again next year. But before we leave, please, let's do something very special together. After this, the planning committee will be taking a picture with the convener, Mr. Taufik. But for those of us that are here, for once, let's create a testament of the fact that we were all witnesses to history being made here today. For the last time, I promise, on this occasion of Intech 2025, I'm going to ask us to just come forward. Let's be closely knit together. Every one of us, we want to take one final selfie of everyone who's here at this event today. So please, let's move forward. Let's gravitate forward. I think our convener should be the one here. All right, please, let's have the planning committee, and then let's be moving forward. So we're just going to be here, and then our convener would be here with his phone, and then he will get to capture every one of us. No, we will be here. So you take it this way. This is the idea. So the convener will take it this way. So all of us will be in the shot. Yeah, but you're facing the stage. Thank you. Thank you. But while you're here, you can also bring out your phone and make your own selfie with everyone who's behind you. So our convener is going to be our lead selfist for the picture. Please indulge us for a few minutes. The planning committee will take a quick picture with our convener and then we'll do the selfie. Thank you. And immediately from here, we will be proceeding to the table for lunch. Thank you. Planning committee, can we move? Can we move? Can we move? Our delegates are waiting. Thank you. Please indulge us a few more minutes, please. Thank you. So these amazing people you're seeing on the stage, they are the ones who made this event possible by all of their hard work, sleepless nights. Don't hide behind somebody, make sure we can see your face. If you need to climb on the table, please do. Planning committee, can you smile? Are we good? Media team, are we done? Where's our photographer? Are we good?